Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Behind the Veil, a show that provides insight into the world of weddings. I'm your host, Keith Willard. Welcome back. Today, we have a great guest to talk about the top challenges that salespeople are facing and how to solve them. Now, of course, a lot of those challenges have dramatically changed over the last year and a half and will continue to provide additional challenges. And so we're going to be talking about that as well. And on the flip side, for people that are looking to purchase or hire vendors, some of those same challenges are going to be on their side as well. So it's important to see both sides. And so, again, we're going to be talking about all of those things. But before we get started, let me introduce Marcy Gutenberg with An Affair to Remember by Marcy. Hi, Marcy.
Hi, Keith.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you again.
And then, of course, the always gorgeous Brooke Logan Stoner. Hi, Brooke.
Hello, salutations, snacks. How is everyone?
Never know. Just never know. All right. Well, let me introduce Meryl Snow. So Meryl, let me just pop her up right on the screen. So Meryl carries 30 years of experience owning and event planning, high-end catering, and design and decor companies. And she is the founder and owner of SnowStorm Solutions, where she serves as a senior consultant and sales trainer for businesses across North America and provides training for clients in the areas of sales, marketing, design, branding. She's also the co-founder of the Philadelphia-based catering company Feastivities Events and its subsidiaries, OffShoots, Décor, Philadelphia's Picnic Company, and Philadelphia's Picnic Company. Wow. Okay, there's a lot.
That was a mouthful.
I really need to shorten that bio.
No,
a little long.
Actually, I felt that it was absolutely appropriate because you're the expert in this, and I want to actually hear that you have a great background, which you do, obviously.
And here's the other thing: this 33 years thing, that's definitely coming out, because I don't tell people it's 33 years anymore, because then they think, oh my God, she's so old, and old thinking. So I'm getting that out too. So thank you for reminding me. I have to read.
No. You know what? And I say that all the time. We were in the car with Brooke and we were talking about when I lived in Dallas, and I'm like, oh, well, gosh, that was over 2 decades ago. And that 2 decades. 2 decades,
right.
At least that wasn't centuries, so.
I know.
That's true.
But it's true. Let's talk about today's subject, because obviously COVID has made a huge change in just the world of sales alone, right? You're catering, you're a catering manager. The beginning of 2020, you are killing it. You are blowing your goal out of the water. You cannot wait till the end of first quarter, because you know that bonus check is going to be amazing. And then boom, right? The whole world shuts down. You're probably postponed. Your job is, put on hold.
Everything
dies, right? Everything dies. So,
Keith, here's the thing. I was at a conference and during this whole thing, and my husband kept texting me and saying, okay, we lost this event. We lost this event. We lost this event. I'm like, God damn it. Stop texting me. I cannot. Because it was almost $1 million by the time I got home. And I was like, oh my God, this is like, you know why? Because thinking back to March,
right,
many of us were thinking that we'd probably be back to normal by this point. This pandemic brought the industry to its knees.
And it really did.
It is crazy.
And by the way, I felt like your cussing was totally appropriate, because that is the kind of shitty
specialty.
Seriously,
I think everybody. I think it was Cater Source.
Yeah,
it was that conference.
It was Cater Source. That's right. It was unbelievable.
And to be honest, I bet there was a lot of people out there cussing anyway, because it screwed everybody. It screwed everybody. So now, but here's the thing: is now you're a catering manager, you're a brand new catering manager, or even if you're a DOC, you're starting to get
just anybody in the industry, in our industry, because it happened to all of us. Events were shut down.
Right. So how do people start selling again? How do they build that trust? How do they build those relationships? Because I have to tell you, as an event planner, my world is completely messed up, because everybody that I thought I knew were at different hotels are no longer there. They're elsewhere. So now it's about building new relationships with the new people that are now in those positions, and then helping them try to hopefully expand their ability to sell moving forward, bringing them people, building those relationships back then. But, but today I really want to focus on the catering salespeople and the salespeople in general.
Well, salespeople in general, because I think that because we're a planner as well and a designer, so it's all the same. It's all we produce events. Yeah. But and we've had this, Keith, before, like in the early 80s. The industry had faced a sequence of these crises, and some more serious than the others, but they were all highly impactful in at least some part of the industry. I mean, do you remember Black Monday in the stock market meltdown in '87? You probably don't remember that.
I do.
You do? And how about in the 1990s? Well, and then there's 9/11, and then the 2008 Great Recession.
2008. Honestly, nothing is like what we've seen.
Nothing, absolutely nothing. But we will survive it. And,
we will.
And the good thing is lifestyle and social events will come back with a vengeance. And I think destination events were going to take a little while to come back. But the other good thing is, since people have been locked up for so long, they weren't spending as much money, and that means there's more money to our budgets. So it's more money to us. Yeah. Well, but people's how people want to do their wedding is dramatically changing. Like, it's all more about the experience, less people. So my phone is ringing. Yeah, but I'm tired of the micro weddings, so I don't want to hear that again.
And so are most people. Most people are done with micro weddings, but they do want a more intimate affair. Like they're looking for that 60, 70, 80 person on average. That's pretty much the leads that are coming in, where before they were 150, 200, 250.
Right.
So I am seeing that change, that people are a little bit more specific about who they want to invite to their wedding. But of course that's a new challenge for a salesperson, because now
it's huge,
right? Because you still have to make your minimum for the room. So okay, let's start somewhere. What are you telling salespeople now? What is kind of your opening remark to salespeople when they're coming to your class or coming to you and saying, "What do I do?"
My opening remark is, excuse me, the game's changed. Sales is not about touting accolades and awards. It's you have to build a confidence in them to make them feel safe, because people don't know if this new strain is going to, set everybody back. I mean, nobody knows. So so it's not about saying how wonderful you are and how fabulous and these are our awards. It's not. It is making a connection. And you know what? It's making a connection was started from way back when. I mean, that's sales. That's sales 101 is making the connection.
Right.
But they have to make sure that they know who their client is and the qualifying questions that they're asking and things like that. So they really have to do their homework. It truly isn't. We're not order takers. And salespeople in our industry, though, are pretty much order takers. Let me tell you why, Keith. It's because people in our industry are in it because they have a passion for what they do. And, whether they're a baker or a musician or a photographer, they're in this because they have a passion for what they do. They're not in this because they're salespeople or even business people.
Right.
And that's the big difference of our industry is our people don't know how to sell. They just don't, because they're not salespeople. And to be honest, real salespeople would never be in our business, because number one, they work way too hard, and number two, they don't make enough money.
Well, I mean, if you know where you're, because I remember when I first started at Hyatt, and I was a brand new catering salesperson, never done catering sales before. I had always been in the event side of the world. All of a sudden, let me get her out. All of a sudden, here we are, in this new industry, and I could build a dream. Oh gosh, I could build a dream, to walk clients through the space and imagine this, do this, visually. And actually I had, because I was new, they made my sales goal like really small, thinking I would never reach it. And I was like, and I ended up they had to give me a check, which was like 10 times my bonus. And I remember that
you're not the norm, Keith.
Yeah,
you are not the norm.
But my favorite thing was that when the GM came to hand me my check, he said, "Don't get used to this." And I went, "Wow, okay, I'm new in sales, and not my boss's boss just told me not to get used to this. I think you would want me to get used to this.
That's
yes,
right.
Do this every single time. Sell." But that's a big. But again, I think that comes from having a business before and then going into catering sales and still having the mindset that money supports the business. Money supports the making sure that the lights stay on. Money makes sure that I still have a job. So I was lucky because I came in from that perspective. So I always knew that the contract. First of all, a contract isn't a real contract until they sign it and you get a deposit check.
And you have the money. Yep.
And the money.
Yep.
But you're a beginning salesperson. You're coming in. You're saying, okay, I don't know how to sell. What are the questions that people should be asking? What are questions salespeople should be asking right off, like right when they first meet couples? And
I get asked all the time. I mean, how do you sell? And I was like, how do you sell? Because if you're not selling you're not selling. Because the moment somebody engages with you, they're judging you first, then they're judging what they're buying, and then they're judging the company. So you're selling yourself first. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think that they have to push the company, what they're selling. And talking about, like, if they're a designer and they're just talking about flowers, and they're not asking the right questions, and they're not making that connection. I think these qualifying questions is so important from the beginning, so we really know what type of client it is.
I like that you said you're selling yourself first, then the company, and I agree with that 100%, because people buy people. People don't buy brands. Not on a level of this. People will.
That's right.
I had a boss at Ritz-Carlton that once told me that, well, really, the name sells itself. And it was so hurtful because I'm like, that's not true.
No, the name, the name got those people there.
Right.
But the salesperson has to book it. And that's the thing. The brand, the Ritz-Carlton is the brand, and the brand is strong, and it got the people there. But if a salesperson's not good, if they don't have confidence in that salesperson, it's not going to book. No. They'll go down the street to the plaza.
100%. St. Regis, one of them,
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what I'm saying. And so you're a new salesperson. What do? You need to get some confidence in yourself first? Do you need to know yourself first? Is that one of the things?
You definitely need to know yourself. I'm a strong believer in personality tests.
Yeah.
And really knowing who you are. Like, I adore Myers-Briggs test, and I don't hire anybody until they take a test.
I'm an ESTJ.
You are? Yes. I'm an ENTJ. That's why we like each other.
All right. Myers-Briggs, guys. If you're listening out there, I'm just telling you, Google it, do a Myers-Briggs
I can give you the free test link. It's KISA.ca/personality.
Okay, wait.
I'm going to take mine again. It's been a long time since I've taken mine. I don't even remember what I was, and I need to. You don't change.
You don't, because even when you were a kid, Pretty Bobby's back, or Brooke's back.
Brooke's back.
And while we're on this little break here, Marcy, it looks like you have this crown above your head.
It does. It does. You look like a princess.
Chandelier?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it looks like a crown.
All right, wait. Give me that Myers-Briggs free website again.
It's KISA, KISA .ca/personality.
.com?
And then no .com. It's CA. It's for a Canadian site.
Got it.
That's
Beautiful.
the CA part. But it is amazing to read about it, because the key thing is, folks, if you're going to take this test, is to answer the first thing that pops into your mind, because don't overthink these questions. And if you answer the first thing that pops in, you will get a true reading. And most people, I'm saying 9 out of 10 people read it and say, oh my God, this is me. So I don't hire anybody that doesn't take a test.
Oh, I don't either. Well, no, that's actually not true. I hire people because they do a really good job, and I'm actually fairly good at hopefully reading people. But I put the link down below us. So if you're a new salesperson, definitely take this.
Even if you're an old salesperson.
Yeah.
Even if you're an old salesperson.
Oh my God, I feel like that's our very first little nugget of information. Know yourself, know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and make those work for you because it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing is once you know your strengths and your weaknesses, because people know it, like I'm not organizational, I'm not this, but I'm good at this, this, and this. Write them down, and then you'll know what your strengths and your weaknesses are. And you go into a meeting and say, you know what? One of my weaknesses is that I need to listen more. And so you go into a meeting and you say, okay, I'm going to listen more. Where'd everybody go?
Oh, I have you full screen. Don't worry.
Why?
So I can drink.
It's our chance to have a drink while you're full screen, and then.
Oh, that's not fair. So I don't get a drink.
Well, it's okay. I was watching Brooke, making sure she was able to down it before I brought you back.
Oh, and I just picked mine up. And sorry, I just picked mine up.
No. It's a way so people can really see your face, and we can do some advertising below you with your website. So when that happens, don't.
Okay, I won't say it again. I won't say it again.
No, it's okay. It's funny. I love it. I love it. This is why I love a live show, because I just love. I love this.
And what are you drinking, Brooke? Looks like beer.
White Claw.
White Claw.
Look, we're all like White Claw. We all know her.
I'm tougher than that. I'm just on a diet.
Yeah, she is. She I don't know why, because she looked amazing. Anyway, so back to salespeople. Know yourself, right? You're new, you're old, whatever. Know yourself. What would be another piece of information that you would give somebody that you were like, you're having a conversation like this, and you say, in general, this is what I would do to help beef you up as a salesperson.
Right. Yeah. The other one would be they're not asking the right questions and listening, because questioning is such a vital skill in communication. Asking the right questions, it allows you to gain an insight into the mind of the client.
Right.
But, anyone can ask questions, but to be successful, you have to know the right questions to ask. And the problem with our industry is whatever field that we're in, whether we're a designer or a florist or whatever, we think that we know the client. We think that we know exactly how the event should be. So if you're at the Ritz-Carlton, you know that it's going to be a sit-down dinner. They have the cocktails over here. Maybe they'll have the ceremony over here. Here's your 3 little options. We think we know what they're going to be, right?
Right.
But we truly don't know the client. We don't know their triggers. And that's probably the most important thing, is knowing what the triggers are. So instead of asking, like if a wedding couple calls up on the phone and says, I'm getting married on June 7th. And most of the time, the salesperson would say, great, congratulations. How many people? Where are you having it? What were you thinking about doing? What is your vision? Get rid of that out of your vocabulary. And they're just asking the same damn thing all the time, right?
Yeah.
And the client's used to this. So they call the next company and the same thing. But what if our salesperson does something a little differently? And what if, the client says, I'm getting married in June, and the salesperson says, all right, call me crazy. I've been doing this for like 20 years, but I still love hearing about the engagement story. And then first she's taken like aback a little bit, or he taken aback, and then what wedding doesn't want to talk about the engagement story, right? So then this one may say, well, we were on top of the Empire State Building. And I'm thinking, cha-ching, right? Not the Empire, actually, not even the Empire State Building. Like, what in Paris? What's that one?
Eiffel Tower.
Eiffel Tower. Or she may say, Well, we were at Denny's and they put this parfait in front of me and I saw this little glimmery thing and I'm digging down. And oh my God, here's my ring. This is my wedding ring. Are we talking about two different brides here or two different clients?
100%.
Yet we treat them the same way. So there's a series of questions. I'm going to just give you a couple more. One of the other questions I like to ask is...
Yeah. What's the other question that you want to ask? Because before, sorry, just really quick, tell people what a trigger is. As basic, I know that seems super basic, but you mentioned it, trigger. You got to know your client's triggers, and these questions are ways of discovering that.
Yes.
What is a trigger?
But what's a trigger? A trigger to them is something that will bother them, right? And something that's really, really important to them.
Right.
So I want to find out what's going to bother them and what's really important to them. And that's why these series of 7 questions is so important, because by the end of this conversation back and forth, that I really know this client. It's not that they're having their event at this venue and they're having 200 people and they're having this. I really know the client. So the next question I would ask is, well, tell me, how do you want your guests to feel when they leave your wedding?
Oh my God, you're like literally listening in on one of my phone calls.
And then good, because you're a good salesperson, Keith. That's why.
Oh my God, I just literally had this exact same conversation this morning. It's
right. And then she may say, or he may say, this whole he, she thing and they, them is driving me nuts. I can't do this. And I'm trying really, really hard. So I hope I don't offend anybody.
You're doing fine.
They may say, well, I want them to think it was the most sophisticated, elegant wedding that they've ever been to. Or someone else may say, I want them to think it was the best party with just tons of liquor and dancing. Two different clients, right?
2 different clients, yes, 100%.
2 different clients, yet we treat them the same way.
Right.
It's craziness, craziness. So I'm going to just give you a couple more because I think it's important.
I feel like these are really important.
And these are for weddings. And we're only talking about weddings because you do not ask these questions to corporate event planners. And I know your audience is weddings, but I do want to give the 2 questions that we do ask corporate event planners because other people do other things besides weddings, right?
Yeah. And about 50% of my business is corporate. So it is a very...
Okay, so then I will do that.
No, but I mean, it's similar questions, just state it in a different way. Kind of trying to get to the
questions to corporate. Yeah. But if we ask these questions to a corporate planner, I think they'd hang up on us.
Oh my God. If we ask them like, how did you mean?
Yeah, right. They would hang up. So the next question I would ask is, what's your deal breaker? Because somebody may say, my deal breaker is if I see a damn chocolate fountain again, I will just explode, or a photo booth or whatever. I mean, I don't know what their deal breaker is.
Right.
Or if I see a mason jar, so I need to know what's triggering them. Then the other one I would ask is, I bet you've been to a lot of weddings recently. Well, not in 2020, but, and they say, I've been to 10. Yeah, I've been to 10 weddings. I was like, great. Well, tell me like the 3 things that you absolutely loved. Well, I love how they had dancing in between courses, and I love that they had late night bites, and I love blah, 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 blah. I have no idea what her loves are.
Right.
And then I would ask, well, then tell me the 3 things that you didn't love so much. Somebody may say, I hated that they had dancing in between courses. I hated they had more food just keep coming out. Who knows what it is, but I am writing every single thing they say down because I need these for the close.
I know my favorite was, I hated the damn candy table. All those nasty fingers.
Yes.
I was like, okay, got you. Okay, no candy table. Okay, done.
Yeah, but even if she does says, I love the candy table, we know exactly what client we're talking to, right?
Yeah.
So these questions are so important, but yet we treat them the same way. Especially in the beginning. So it's important. I'm sorry, Marcy, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, sorry.
Yeah, Marcy, what's up?
No, I was just going to say, it's about passive listening versus active listening. If you really want to get to know your client, you have to be invested and involved with listening to what your client's likes and dislikes are.
Oh, look
Yes.
who read the book. Me too.
I read that book.
Passive and active listening. Oh my
Passive and
God.
active listening.
Huge.
True.
Huge in the sales
really
industry.
big, but I don't think a lot of people realize that they just going through the motions, and to me they're like order takers. Like the call comes in and they're just going down their inquiry sheet and sending out a proposal, wasting their time sending out a proposal without knowing the client.
It's the worst.
It's the worst.
And and the thing is that when you have to really like what you do, if you're a salesperson in this industry and you ask those questions that you mentioned before, how many people, if you start your conversation with what's your budget?
Yes. You don't even say the budget. Yeah.
Click. Because honestly, that is the worst thing that you can ask a bride right up front. It's important information. Okay. You've got to get it at some point, but you got to find unique and interesting ways in finding that number because that puts up a wall. Immediately that puts up a wall between you and the client. And a lot of times they don't even know. They don't even know what their budget is at that point.
No, they don't. Or they're not going to give it to you. Yeah, they're just not going to give it to you because they think you'll spend the whole thing. Yeah. But I mean, one of the easy ways that we find out what their budget is without even using the budget is after we have this whole conversation, we ask our 7 qualifying questions and we really get to know who this client is. I said, okay, I think I got it. Let me see. Let me do a recap to make sure I have it. And then now I'm telling a story about what we just talked about. And this is the first time they heard their wedding story. Right. Yeah. And then I said, do I have it right? And they'll say, oh my God, that's exactly what I'm thinking. And it truly is. She's had it in her head, but she hasn't had it. Nobody told her the story. Then I say to her, well, I can give you a range. It'll be between, 12,000 to 15,000. Yeah. And then I shut up and then I just say, are you comfortable with that? Yeah. And they're either going to say yes or no. They're going to say, yeah, I think, does it include this, this, and this? And I'm like, yeah. Or they're going to say, no, my father only gave me 20,000 for the whole event.
Right.
So at least we know who we're talking to. Then there's other ways you get around all that. But
so talking about money, one of the big questions that salespeople get, or not questions, I guess it's more of a comment from the client side, is they say, well, we want to get married, but we also want to buy a house. Mm-hmm. And it happens all the time.
It does.
Somebody says,
but it did before too. I mean, it did years ago too.
Well, yeah. So, how do you, because now you like me, I'm so involved with my weddings that I actually go, oh gosh, I got to really make sure, but they are very two different things. There was an accountant friend of mine from Hyatt, actually, that used to say, your financial issues cannot become my financial issues, when she would be talking to people about getting their paying them. So she would always say over the phone,
it's so much like a Hyatt salesperson, just saying.
Oh yeah, your financial issues cannot become my financial issues. But she was on the accounting side, so she was amazing at getting people to pay their remaining balances. But it always kind of reminds me that they are two separate stories. And a lot of times I have to, when I'm talking to my clients after they've hired me, I'm like, look, nobody cares really if you're buying a house or not. Do not include that in the conversation. It's going to be the worst possible thing you can do, because it immediately will put the salesperson up. I said, we have a budget. That's your budget. They don't need to know any additional information about your life. They're not going to get you a better price because you're trying to buy a house. If anything, they're probably going to raise it.
Is this podcast for brides as well?
It is. It's for both. It's for the industry at large.
Oh,
it's okay. But no, I feel like information is important on either side.
No, I'm transparent. I mean, I tell everything. Okay.
Oh, me too.
But and you're right.
And I feel like, it's important that, and salespeople need to also understand that, it is two separate things. And sometimes you just have to be able to say, I totally get it. I remember when I bought my first house, it was such an incredible thing, but I would really suggest that you separate those two. You really need to figure out what your budget's going to be for the wedding, irregardless of what you're trying to do with the house. You got to separate it now, because if you try to keep those two combined up until the wedding, it's going to drive you crazy. You got to make a separation.
And you could also say to them, well, aren't you lucky because mortgage rates are so low?
I love it.
Right?
You can still have your dream wedding.
Oh my goodness, right? Oh my goodness. Brooke, you good? Yeah, you had some technical difficulties. Yeah, she looks amazing.
I have duct taped every single. Keith, you know what's going on with it's time to buy a new one.
Her light keeps falling. So she's like,
I have everything duct taped. So I should be good for the next, hopefully we got another 30 minutes left. We'll be good.
Yeah, you'll be fine. All right. So, they get to the point they're happy. You've walked them through the process. You're drawing up a contract, right? They're trying to seal the deal. What are some tips on getting them to cross that finish line? Because it's not reeled really to the client until they're ready to sign it and hand you over that big check.
Right. And I think that what salespeople have to know is that they are closing from the moment they speak to the client. I mean, they're closing. So there is no, everybody asks me, what's your best closing line? What's your best closing line? I said, I don't have a closing line.
Sign the contract.
My closing line is right. Well, let's get you on the calendar. I said, because you're closing from the beginning. And because you know this client so well. So if I have a client that is kind of teetering, but I have all her triggers, or his triggers. I have all the triggers. And I would say, if I know that they're kind of teetering, all I would do was say, you know what? Our service staff is so exceptional, which means that your friends are not going to have to wait at the bar for a drink. Now, what's happened here is two things, which means, because the words which means is used to get your attention. That's just a human thing that we have. If somebody says which means to you, you're saying, okay, something important is going to happen now. But it's true, because we as humans do that. So we always say because if I said our service is so outstanding, that goes over their head, because everybody's saying that, right? But if I say, I know one of her triggers is that she wants the best wedding, better than any of her friends. Friends are very, very important. So if I gave her a trigger and I said, our service is so outstanding, which means your friends are not going to wait in line at the bar. And she is mortified, thinking, oh my God, that could happen. So now she's going to go to the next venue or the hotel or the caterer and say, how many bartenders do you have on? Or how many separate bars do you have? When I know, because I know who else they're seeing, doesn't have the same staff. So that would be one of the questions that I would ask. Another one, and I'm getting these from all their triggers. So then I would say, oh my God, the chef is so wonderful. You know what? Which means Instagram is going to be on fire. They eat this stuff up. I mean, they do.
Funny.
Everybody's going to be pinning it, or our service is so wonderful, which means your mother-in-law is not going to have a damn thing to say, because maybe the mother-in-law is the trigger. So
as long as she's not writing the check.
Triggers. But you could be a pain in the ass.
That's right. But you can be a bigger pain in the ass if you have a bigger check. I'm just saying.
That's right.
Sold. I agree 110%. Sign on the dotted line. Yes.
Exactly. But I totally get that. Yeah. And knowing the triggers. But I think a salesperson also should never be afraid to ask about who else you're going to go see. Who else are you looking at?
Yeah. And if it's a competitor, you say, you know what, they do a nice job.
Yes.
You don't bash anybody.
Never
but
bash
if it's
anybody.
not a competitor, you say, we don't get linked together too often. That's interesting. And you leave it at that, because they'll think, oh, geez. Because You need to do that, but you don't say anything bad about them, right?
Well, we're always nice and cordial till the ride home.
Right, exactly.
That's
If need be.
But seriously, but that's a big problem in our world, because it is a small world. I mean, catering managers go from hotel to hotel to hotel like nothing, because it's the only way basically they can get a raise is by going to a different hotel, right? Because the hotels are horrendous about giving their own people raises based on merit. I mean, if you have a salesperson that's killing it, give that person a raise, for goodness sakes, or you're going to end up paying more money later because they're going to leave you and your sales are going to drop. Anyway, that's a whole different thing. But I like that. I love the fact that you say, don't say anything bad about other hotels, because one day they want to be at that hotel. I'm just saying, you don't want to say, oh, the St. Regis.
You look bad.
Hotel, so.
Yeah, right. Yeah. There you go. Plus you look bad, I mean, it's yeah.
Not if you look good.
Right? But I mean, because when you say bad things about other people, it doesn't reflect badly on them. It reflects badly on you.
It's true.
So you have to be very, very careful in who you gossip with. Like, I can tell Marcy and Brooke anything. I mean, we can bash on the ride home. So
you haven't packed. Yeah.
I mean, you may have overshared, actually. I'm just saying. Okay. We may both have overshared.
Well, it was 2:00 in the morning and we're tired. Shut up.
But you're always selling. I mean, as they say, ABS, you're always selling, always be selling. And you're not selling a product, but you're selling the vision. You're selling the idea. You're selling the
experience. Yeah.
Do you really suggest that if people, because we've talked a lot about getting invested with your clients, learning, hearing about their wedding and repeating it back to them, and you have to be excited about what you do. You have to be excited about what you are doing. Do you suggest people that aren't good are not excited about this find a different sales?
Get out of this? Get out. Be in the back of the house. Be in planning.
So much patience and some tough
skin. Oh my God! Yeah, it is, and extroverts. It helps to be an extrovert, but introverts can sell too. They learn to put on the show. If you're an introvert by nature, you can certainly learn to be an extrovert, and that is somebody that's excited and because they want you to be excited for them. And that's not hard to do. I mean, even though we do this every single weekend, but it's not that hard to do. It's funny because in hotel sales, and I have a couple of hotel clients, and what I find with the hotel sales managers is that they are little robots. And they follow the rules, and they don't deviate. And the salespeople that get out of the typical, literally the inquiry sheet, all the questions that you have to ask, that go verge away from that and make the real connection, they're the ones that are making the sales.
Right.
And this was an issue for I've seen some really strong hotel salespeople, and it is that they're not being compensated properly either, because they don't do commissions or something. They're usually salary or hourly. And I was like, get out of the hotel business. Because a strong salesperson can make a lot of money somewhere. That's right. And a strong salesperson can make a lot of money somewhere.
And they really can. And the thing is that if you're a salesperson also, I would highly recommend, back up what you say. Do not make false promises in order to make the sale. It is not worth it. At the end of the day, it is not worth it to give false promises.
That's right. Because you want to under promise, over deliver.
Mm-hmm.
Under promise,
by all means,
over deliver.
Please have integrity.
Right?
Yes.
And if you don't,
exactly.
The ones that rise to the top are the ones that, number one, have integrity first and foremost.
That's right.
Well, and I tell people, I tell my clients, my brides, I'm like, get it in writing, because salespeople will change. So even though we all know we buy from people, we meet with a salesperson, they're amazing, we love them, they show us but don't forget to look at the facts of the place, get it in writing. Get it in writing. I don't care if it's in an email from the person, after the fact, where they say, oh, you know what? oh, if you sign, we'll give you an extra night here at the hotel. Just get it in the email saying, I just want to double check that we are still good with the extra night. Be very specific and get a response, because the hotel will honor it as long as you have proof. But you got to have proof. You can't just say, well, this is what they told me. Because people move. But that's why I also want to make sure that when we're talking about salespeople, that when you leave your position to go somewhere else, leave it in a state that makes you proud. Because
that's good advice, Keith.
Good advice.
Because it does. It will follow you. That will follow you. If another salesperson comes in and they are left with a mess to clean up, they're going to talk. They're going to talk. And sooner or later,
she's got to mop up behind the bar.
Right?
That's right. That's right.
So, go ahead.
You know that our industry has been pretty shattered, and a lot of salespeople have left our industry because
a lot of good people actually.
A lot of good people have left, and or a lot of people have just been furloughed and want to stay in it. But this is the time to grab some good salespeople. I did. I know my competitor salespeople. I know who I would want. I would just contact them and say, want a job? You grab up a lot of good salespeople. It's not like I'm stealing them. They're furloughed. They're done. They're out of work.
Right.
Or the company closed, so. Yeah.
Well, Willard, what's the best thing you've ever shoplifted in your life?
I wonder if any of those people will come back to the industry if they've gone over to a different industry temporarily or permanent.
You know why they're not? You want to know why? And this is not the hotel world, because you guys have benefits and structured salaries and stuff like that. But the rest of our industry usually does not give them benefits, or not, and it's certainly not 9 to 5. So they have a taste of this real world out there, and they're saying, oh my God, I have a life. I have a Saturday. I'm not working so it's going to be hard to get our people back.
Well,
and it's the people that love this business.
Yeah, but this is addicting. I have to tell you, what we do is addicting. There are some highs and lows that come with it that that aren't part of the normal world out there. Corporate America is not based on these these good vibes, these good feelings.
Right.
Except when you go to a sales meeting, put on by the company to increase sales, so to speak. But there's something very valuable and fun and joyous about when a client says, and we've said it on the show several times, oh my God, today was the best wedding of my life. This was the wedding of my dreams. It gives you all the feel goods, the adrenaline gets pumping, So I went to the corporate world and I missed it. I missed this. And so
because it's in you. It's definitely in you, Keith, and it's not in everybody. Some people it's just a job. They like planning, they like weddings, they like this, but it's sometimes it's just not in them. And the other thing is, the younger they are, the millennials, I think millennials have it right, because
I feel like you're the very first person ever to say that.
I know. And it took me a long time to realize it. Because, I think they do have it right. Because my generation, kid, is watched us work like crazy, right? So my generation, our kids are watching us work like crazy and work weekends and just work. So these kids are saying, that's not for me. I want my life back. And and if you notice, that's what the work-life balance is very important to these millennials. So I think they may have it right. So we have.
Yeah, work smarter, not harder. Yeah.
There was a movie I saw this past weekend, and it was about millennials and getting a job. And I'll think of the name of it in a moment, but it's very much on point of what you're talking about.
Oh, good. I want it, but Marcy, when you do think of it, let me know. Send me an email, because I definitely want to see it, because I truly think that they have something there that because I do think that we work way too hard in our industry. I do. And I don't think that we, and I know we have like this, our sales are, seasonal. But it is still, and we're still working hard when we're not in season. So I think they have something. And I think that as managers, we need to manage these millennials by just giving them like 5 simple incentive type things. I mean, it's easy to do. We just need to communicate with them and cooperate and collaborate. I mean, they need flexibility. They need time off. They need best technology. They need to be challenged and grow, and they need appreciation. They need to be patted on the back.
They really do.
And yeah, they do.
Well,
and that's all we think.
And while that's a new challenge for salespeople on this side of it as well, because that is a different take. The people that we are selling to today are a very different mindset than the people that we sold to 10 years ago. I mean,
it's
right.
Just Oregon Trail, honey. They just, Max and all that came into like 9th grade. For us, it was like, ooh,
Yeah, because I mean, now it is,
There's something to be said about our generation, though, too, that can adapt to what the way the millennials started out, where we had none of that technology back then.
Right. Oh my goodness. Well, okay, we're at the end. I know. She looks.
Wow.
She's
a lot older than I look.
Oh my God.
I really thought you were a millennial.
Oh my God.
You're a millennial.
Oh no. I'm not going to say how far she's not a millennial, but
and you're smart. You're a wizard and a genius.
Oh my God. Well, Meryl, it was an awesome conversation. Thank you so much for being on Behind the Veil. So we're gonna have
I love you guys.
Oh, thank you so much. We're gonna well, the fun doesn't stop here because Meryl has decided to stay with us for After the Veil. Yay!
Oh, she's a brave.
What happens there?
Well, you'll find out. But first, a quick word.
Can I smoke my vape? I saw Brooks.
You can. We'll be right back.
More than just entertainment, we understand the importance of the entire wedding day celebration. From the moment you select the date until the day of the celebration, we are there to provide you and your family with the peace of mind you deserve. Mike Sipe Entertainment Events and Productions has been providing entertainment and production nationwide for over 30 years. Our company motto is your day, your way. And our mission is to provide our clients with the most unforgettable entertainment experience while promoting an atmosphere of trust and togetherness. Learn more at themikesipe.com.
All right, welcome back to After the Veil. Meryl, I'm so happy that you stuck around. Now, there are no rules to After the Veil. We don't have right. No, we just like to, this is because one of the things that we realized is that we really loved all the crap that we talked about after the show. And so we were like, you know what?
The true tea.
The true tea is when it happens here, because the first part of the show is really be focused on whatever we're talking about in order to get that information out. And then after we just hang out.
Go
bullshit.
ham.
We bullshit. Yeah, exactly. Well, and like Brooke and I, Marcy was kind of part of it because she was a sponsor, but we had this event over the weekend called Love is in the Air, which was a over 30,000 square feet on the top floor of a parking garage.
Look at all this color, honey.
I know. Which is why we're all bright red. That's why Brooke and I, Brooke looks beautiful.
Well, you look fabulous. Oh no, let me tell you.
I'm just saying, I got
color correction I had to do today. But you start looking glowing.
Oh, thank you. Well, no, it's the ring light.
Where was it? What city?
Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, you're in Florida. Oh,
yeah. So
you've been open the whole time. You haven't been shut down.
No, that's not true. Not
we were converted down.
Not Broward and Monroe.
Oh.
No, they shut us all the way down, like hardcore.
Oh.
But we wanted to prove that you could do a show, that you could do an event, that it could be safe if you had the right location, the right people, and the right rules. And so we did. It was amazing. We had over 300 people come. Now, of course, when you're on 30,000 square feet and it's over 5 hours, it never looks busy. But that was the point.
Right.
Is that you
So did you do it on the top parking and the top
all
of the parking lot?
Took the whole top.
That is
right?
so cool.
And
That's very cool.
It's genius.
Yeah.
So, and the nice thing about this particular property actually has a big green lawn that we were able to do. So I officiated a wedding.
Is that permanent?
Yeah. The green lawn's permanent. So it was so sweet. We actually had somebody take us up on the elopement package, which was $200, so we would marry you for $200. You would get a bouquet, you would get a boutonniere, and we would
for
marry
$200.
you.
I mean, that's like nothing. What the hell?
we married that we would marry you on site, and so it was. And I was so happy that somebody said yes. It's the first time I've officiated a wedding in 6 years,
and did a phenomenal job too. I might add.
Thank you very
wow.
much. Yeah, it was good.
So
it was really, really, really good. It was really funny. I really and they had their marriage license and everything. I was like really surprised they were there to do it. I was like, all right, good for y'all. Right, but
really?
It was so hot. It was so freaking hot. The rest of the country's in like freezing cold, and here in South Florida, we're literally having heat strokes. It was crazy
It's
hot.
snowing here right now. It's snowing.
See, that's what I'm saying. And actually, the reason we ran the Mike Slick commercial is because he was a major sponsor. So I just wanted to do a little additional thank you to him because he was amazing. Okay. They did all the entertainment and fun, and I always love when I see people get drunk, like at a wedding.
Oh, wow. Okay. Something we do not have
about you. Don't worry about you. I'm not talking about you. But brides at wedding shows are my favorite because they're just so full of joy and happy, and they're just loose and relaxed and hanging out. You really see their real personality at a wedding show, like what they're really going to be like. Because a lot of times when we see them as salespeople, they're very controlled.
Yes, they're organized. Yeah.
They got the book out.
Right.
When you have a bride go to a wedding show, she's just there to be a bride. She wants to wallow in it, roll around in it, and it's like, here are my bridesmaids, and I want my free champagne, and give me whatever, give me my free pen.
Out of all the free shit in the world, pen.
Right? Pen.
Yes.
I don't know what it is.
That's why we don't do bridal shows. That's why we don't do bridal shows.
Oh, the pen.
It was actually it was minus the sunburn I have, which is horrible. It was a success. It was a good time.
Right? It was.
I was very upset with the tequila people breaking down a little earlier than I wanted them to. But the rum people stayed, so.
Yeah, the rum people stayed. Well, Brooke, because we had liquor sponsors.
Do you have any clothes on, Brooke?
Yeah,
I do actually. At the expo, I bought this little. I don't know.
Was it a little bikini or is it?
No,
dress?
it's actually a dress. It's 4 lengths.
She's really pretty.
I wore this. Actually, I bought this one because Keith likes me in blue, and my favorite color is green, so I bought 2. I wore the blue one for him today, and I'll probably wear the green one next week.
Yeah, it was beautiful, but we had some market people there, so you could get free drinks because we had 7 liquor sponsors. You could shop because there were all these little trinkets and jewelry and dresses.
Oh, well, that's different.
Yeah, so we combined a pop-up marketplace with a wedding show on the top floor. So it felt very like a festivity and a festival, which made me trigger because when you said you have a company called Feastivities. But it was
Feastivities.
Weird.
I didn't correct you.
Feastivities.
It's Feastivities.
And what is that?
That is the luxury catering company. That is the high-end catering company. Then we have OffShoots, which is our design division and planning company. And then we have a picnic company.
Oh my God, how big are you? Jeez.
It's big. It's a big company.
I was about to say, oh my God, you must have a massive company.
Meryl Street big.
Yeah,
I love her, by the way. And
you
I
were
just love
doing
her
bees
name
for a while too, weren't you?
Yeah.
What is that?
Farming.
I still am.
Oh,
well, kind of. I have chickens too. Marcy, we know each other.
Oh yes, for years.
Okay, I was gonna say, don't act like you don't know.
I even met you at my first place conference, which was in Seattle back in '98, I think.
Oh my God, that far back?
Like, I'm sorry, chickens.
Shit.
I know. That's all I heard out of
Yes.
the whole
I can't.
I have chickens.
Chickens, Marcia, we know chickens.
What?
But Marcia, we know each other.
Chickens and bees.
I have chickens.
Bees. You have bees?
Chickens and bees. All right, let me just tell you why.
Okay,
because
I really.
I've been married for 31 years.
You need something else to do?
Right, and I've been in it with my husband. So there's like a lot of time together. However, we got to the point where it was always about work. So we said, we need some hobbies. So he wanted to do motorcycles. I didn't. I wanted to do the ballet. He didn't. So we put all these different things into a hat. Like we wrote them down what we wanted to do for, and I did, ballroom dancing and stuff like that. So we would pick them out of the hat and we would both say yay or nay. So it came to bees and chickens. That's what it came out to be. Nothing that I really wanted.
You both said yes.
Motorcycles. Now we're at bees and chickens. I love this.
No, I couldn't
there's
do
got to
the
be a
motorcycle.
really good. Is there a honey chicken recipe I need to?
Honey chicken.
I mean, there's got to be. You probably make the best honey chicken ever.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God, you do that fresh.
I don't even cook. I don't even cook.
What do you do with the
Seriously.
chicken?
Yeah, well,
eggs?
The chickens were just I paint the chicken's toenails. I colored one pink. She was a white chicken. I made her pink. Do you remember that, Marcy?
Yes.
Oh my God, you made it.
Now we have drag chickens, and now
you have drag chickens.
We use the eggs.
I use the what?
The eggs.
Oh, we eat the eggs. Yeah, we have a ton of eggs. Yeah.
Do you paint them first?
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity. You should.
But I did. I dyed my chicken's hair. She was gorgeous pink. Gorgeous.
Was she happy with the dye job?
I think so.
What was her name?
I have Gertrude Chicken. That's Annie's chicken called Chicken. And Jack. Jack's a girl, though.
I love Gertrude.
Gertrude.
Yes.
I love chicken.
My favorite cousin, her name's Gertrude.
And she's a big old chicken.
Really? You don't hear that often. You don't hear that name ever.
Her dad, Dirt in the Gravel Gert is what he called her. And I called her Dirty Gertie or Gert in the Skirt or Gertrude. So she's Gert.
That poor thing. Jeez.
Oh gosh, she's probably watching this. See, my phone's gonna start blowing up.
Oh my God, Dirty Gertie.
So, Marcy.
Yes.
Good. Marcy, how do you fit in with all this?
So I'm the immediate past president of NACE, which was South Florida. And then Keith came on as the first VP and he stepped in as president after my 2 terms.
Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. I had to get rid of somebody. Good. So Keith stepped in after that.
He's now the president and I'm the immediate past president for the third year, right?
Yeah.
Third year.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
almost
on
the national committee as well for education.
Yeah. So I was going to transition my role before all this happened. But then, of course, all this happened. And I was like, no, I need to stay in place because I gotta make sure that the organization survives COVID, right? I really felt
Did you guys lose a lot of members?
Yes, a lot. Yeah. But they'll come.
We're not the only ones. Every chapter did.
Oh, I know every chapter. I was talking to Doug. You know, Doug Partrini works for us.
He does? You know what? He told me he got a new job. Okay.
Oh my goodness! What a small world.
That's one of the ones you steal back.
Right. Oh, that's right. You're like, he's such a good salesperson. I'm totally taking him. Yeah. But the membership will come back. But actually, will. And when it comes to the show, Marcy and Brooke and I, at the very beginning of all this, like back in April when we started the show, this started as a Zoom call. This program,
mm-hmm.
like it was 4 or 5 of us on a Zoom call that we would push out onto Facebook. And we were like, because we knew people had questions. I kept hearing from brides saying, I don't know what I would do if I didn't have somebody like you in my life, right? Because there's just the changes of date, the contracts, the stress, right? And South Florida, they say between 80 and 90% of weddings don't have an event professional associated with them that in a capacity like this, like planning capacity. Most people try to do it on their own. But of course, then when you're going into hotels and trying to renegotiate your contract dates and minimums, and it gets overwhelming. So we started doing this little show that we would invite like a director of catering on each week, or it would be somebody in the industry, other event planners. We had a one show where it was nothing but event planners talking about what they were going through, and it just kept growing. It kept growing and growing and growing and growing.
That's
and
great.
So then and I was like, I guess, what is it, Marcy, about episode 18, I was like, okay, what
are we gonna do?
I was like, I'm getting, every Tuesday is a little rough. It is a little rough to do it every single Tuesday consistently, brand new topic.
So you've been doing this since COVID?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're all coming up on a year.
Oh, wow.
We're coming up on a year every Tuesday.
Are you going to continue? Are you going to continue?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
you still working as an event planner?
Oh yeah. and it's getting busier than ever. I mean, we lost so much business, obviously, or we didn't lose it. It just moved to this.
Yeah.
But now, there are so many people out there that because of the show, I'm going to give a lot of credit to the show. Because of the show, it gave us a lot of exposure that we would not have gotten otherwise.
Great.
So and we did I did a lot of PR work over the summer. So we were in a lot of publications: New York Times, U.S. News, World and Report, Parade Magazine. So and all that's starting to finally culminate.
He's done an amazing job. The amount of work and time and hours each day that he's put in to make this a success is actually all due to him. I just put on eyelashes and makeup and look pretty. Great. He is actually the machine behind this.
Well,
that's
and
great.
Marcy's our etiquette expert because she makes sure that we keep it.
She's the pretty polite one. Yes, the pretty polite, one, and I'm just the mouth of the South, and we've got this workhorse up here.
But you make it so easy for your guests. I mean, it's so casual. You make it fun. So you have a good way you have a great way with your guests.
Well,
that's wonderful.
And
this is why I think we have the weddings and we get the bookings that we do, because of this man's personality and just the way he approaches things.
I can see that.
That's really why my bank account looks the way it does. Well, I thank you for that.
That's great.
No, but seriously, and the whole purpose of the show from the very beginning and still continues to be to provide as much information as possible in a joyous way. That's all we ever wanted to do with this. And that's why we had psychologists on to talk about mental health and wedding planning. That's why we had lawyers on to talk about attrition and room blocks and contract negotiations. And that's why we have people like you on, because these are real challenges that people are facing. And if we can help a couple of people, or if we have an aha moment, it's totally worth it. And we're having a good time doing it too. So,
before I know we're running out of time, but before Rick, I have one question I want each one of you to answer.
Yeah.
And the question is, what is the single number one most important thing in relation to what you do?
Well, that's kind of a broad question.
Well, Marcy does her invitations.
Okay.
We do.
What is what is the number one reason I do what I do?
What's the most no, it's what is the most okay, yes. Go answer.
Okay.
I like
what's
that.
The number one reason? Yeah. What's the number one reason I do what I do? Who wants to answer first?
I'll go. I'll go first.
Okay, Meryl.
Okay, Marcy. Go, Marcy.
Okay. So I think the reason why I do what I do now is because I really wanted to stay in the wedding market, having been into it for 30 something years.
See?
Yeah, we're all doing the same thing.
I really wanted to stay into it, and I really like the one-on-one feel. So for me, being in the invitation side of things, I get to sit down one-on-one with my clients and get to know them a little bit more and develop they're setting the tone for their event. So the first thing that the guest sees is the invitation. And that's what trickles everything else off of that. When their guests are walking in, they have an expectation based on what they've seen from the invitation. So I think,
and you don't have to work weekends.
Really, what was that?
And you
don't have to work weekends.
And I don't have to work weekends, and that's a big thing. Especially those late Saturday nights and lying on the couch on Sunday or Monday when I get the day off.
Right. What about you, Meryl? Why do you do what you do?
Well, I didn't tell you this before, but even though we have these three companies, I'm not there the day-to-day anymore. And I left the day-to-day about 7 years ago, and my husband just runs all the companies. It's because I wanted to give back. And Mike Roman, I don't know if you remember him, but Mike Roman was my mentor, and he had said to me a while back, he says, you need to start giving back to the industry. You've gotten a lot from it, and we need more people to give back. So, and I love speaking. I love teaching. I know that as I ran a sales team of 22 for years and years and years, and I know what works and what doesn't work. So I said, this is what I'm going to do. So what I love about what I do now, because I do sales training, I do speaking, I do consulting, I do all this. And prior to COVID, I was hopping around all over the country and loving it, going into companies and just, and leaving there saying, oh my God, I helped them. And that to me was better than any bride. Any bride down the aisle. It was helping the companies and letting, feeling that I made a difference. And that to me is, and I think that my husband says it all the time, all the stuff you've done with the catering and the design and all that leads to this moment of where you're the happiest. And that's what it is. Okay, Keith, you're up.
I love making people happy. I mean, there's very few jobs in this world where you have the impact that I do on people's lives. Most people have a birth, a death, a baby, a marriage. There are very specific big markers in most human beings' lives. And to have a position that has that much influence on having a day that they love, that they will remember forever, that it is ultra important, that it is as good as it possibly can, and I know that I can do that. I know that I'm the best at what I do, and I'm a practical planner, right? I'm a practical planner. I don't give a crap about those luxurious weddings. That to me is all BS. When people talk about, oh, I want to go after luxury weddings, screw you. Luxury weddings can blow me as far as I'm concerned, because I feel like that's all fluff. At the end of the day, it's more important to make sure that your guests are having a great time, that the experience, the memory is everything. If it brings you nothing but warmth and laughter and joy, then I did my job. Luxury wedding just means that they have a larger budget. Good, but it doesn't change the emotional impact of a great memory. Money doesn't buy a good memory. It just doesn't.
That's right. No, you're right.
It helps. I will take it. Yeah. I will absolutely take it. If you have a larger budget and you want to do 3 days of parties, I will absolutely spend your money for you. But I'm not going to do it stupidly. I'm not going to just spend $30,000 on flowers because I can. It doesn't make sense. So I'm more.
That's good. I like that.
And I think it probably works against me in some instances because when we talk about building the dream, I build the dream in reality. I don't sugarcoat stuff. Here I talk about emotional dollars. What is, when we spend this money, does it make sense emotionally? Will it have an emotional impact on your guests, on your bride?
That's good.
Right. So it's, emotional dollar for dollar. And like favors, I hate favors. I think favors are a huge waste of money most of the time. And people, and I'm like, did that favor add any emotion to the event? Did it make people happy? Did it make them smile? Did they want to keep it? Is it?
And how many did we have to throw out?
So many. I'm like, put that to like a Frost 321 company.
And that's in my repertoire too. But these days, there's so many other things that you can enhance the wedding with. I mean, do a menu card, do it, the napkins, do something else that's going to add to the look.
And the invitation is everything. When you open that invitation, it gives you an immediate sense of what that wedding is going to be. You're like,
the menu at the table setting, when your guests walk up and they see the menu, that also enhances the whole look of that table.
It gives you it's visually appealing. And then, Brooke, what about you, honey?
Yeah.
Well, pretty much, Keith answered it like verbatim. So what I will tell you is this. I'm going to flip the script a little bit.
Okay.
Because that's exactly what I do. Why I do what I do. That's why I'm his assistant. We share the same brain, and we have the same heart and love for what we do. So there's that.
Sure.
I will say this. I'll give you a weakness and a struggle. For me, always be on time. Be on time and be transparent. Those are my two most important things.
That's good.
I struggle with being on time, Keith, as Keith knows, and Marcy.
That's all right.
But I'm always transparent. I always tell the truth, whether he likes it or not.
Yep.
But I'm always transparent with him. So that which has formed a great friendship with us as far as that goes, as well as a boss and employee. But always be on time and always be transparent, and don't be greedy. Pigs get slaughtered, not chicken.
Yeah, I know. She always says that. She always says, "Greedy pigs get slaughtered."
My grandma left me her fur coat, a bracelet, and that piece of advice.
Greedy pigs get slaughtered. Don't be greedy, or you'll be taken to the slaughterhouse. Anyway, we are so over time.
Yeah,
this is fun. Thank you.
But thank you for playing question and answer with Brooke Stoner.
I want to let everybody know that the movie that I was talking about is called "Get a Job," and it's with Ali Wong.
Get a job.
It was very cute. It was a very lighthearted movie. It was on. Watched it. I think it was on Friday night, and we just said, "Oh, there was nothing on." I'm like, "Okay, so let's watch a lighthearted movie."
All right, my love.
Where did you watch it? Where was it? On Netflix?
I think Netflix.
Well, don't worry. We can stay on. I just need to go ahead and get to a point where we end this broadcast. So everybody say goodbye. Bye, everybody.
It was nice meeting everybody.
See you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Goodbye.